All right, my grill's ready for the grilling season, but what to put on it? I've sought out a nationally recognized expert, John Wood at US Wellness Meats, to tell me what kind of meat to put on here. I gave him a call on the phone. Let's see what he says. I'm Chef Todd Moore. My mission is empowering people to cook without recipes. They experience the freedom to cook what they want, how they want it, the confidence to take control and try new things, the health benefits of fresh, wholesome foods, and the family-strengthening bonds of dinner time together, as well as the money they save by eating well. Live without rules, cook without recipes. It's a no-recipe lifestyle.
John speaking.
Hey, John, it's Chef Todd Moore.
Yes, how are you?
Very well, thank you. We're getting into grilling season here, and the first question they want to know is, very simply, what's the best cut of meat for grilling?
Well, obviously, there's you have a pretty good range. Obviously, the real simple one is obviously ground beef. You can grill burgers and grill patties. You've got ribeyes and strip steaks are outstanding on the grill. We have top sirloin, and you blindfold the average soul. And grass-fed beef has got a lot more flavor, and I can cook that $10 or $12 top sirloin, and most people would have a difficult time determining the difference between that and the $20 pound ribeye and New York strip steaks. So I put those in there as well.
What is it that makes these cuts good? It's where they come from on the animal. Is that it?
And this goes back to 1997, the first animal we ever harvested. And I'm sitting here, in a fifth-generation Corn Belt cattle feeding family, background in cattle on grass and pasture, and we'd finish them off on corn like everybody else was doing. I came out of Iowa State, told and taught how to do all this. We had a piece of prime Hereford beef. We had a couple steaks out of a older fattened, grain-fed steer, and we compared those with the grass-fed over a barbecue grill, one beer apiece, and two different cuts of steaks. And without any hesitation, there were three of us doing that test that night. We all three said, by far, the grass-fed's got much better flavor. I mean, it just was alive. I mean, it was I call it a sparkling beef flavor, no question. Better. But keep in mind, we move these animals about every day at 4 o'clock in the fresh grass. So they're in really high-quality nutrition. We're catching the sugars, at the highest point of the day because soul energy comes down and, shines on the grass all day long. And about 4 o'clock, you have the most energy in that plant. You have more energy at 4 o'clock than 8 o'clock in the morning. So they're getting the best of everything.
That's where it all started for me, John, to be honest with you. When I tasted the difference between grass-fed beef, and really what I'm trying to do is initiate the uninitiated. I have to ask you more basic questions, like why? Why can't my cow eat corn? I mean, it's quicker, it's faster, it's cheaper. When I go to the grocery store and I look at grass-fed beef versus regular beef, well, the corn-fed beef is a lot less expensive. Why shouldn't I buy that?
It's a real simple answer. The grazing animal that God put on earth, and a number of herbivores and four-legged animals with hooves, they have 4 stomachs. And the first stomach is a fermentation vat. It's called the rumen.
You look at the cow as a device to turn that energy. You talked about the energy in the grass is at its peak in the afternoon. You look at the cow as an element to turn that grass energy into protein for human beings.
That is absolutely correct. You got the full circle right there. But now the grain-fed animal, on the other hand, most of these animals in the country, in the United States, about 800 pounds, they make the trek to the feedlot, and they're deposited there, and they're coming off a grass diet. Pretty much, it's mama's milk and grass up to 800 pounds. And they go into a commercial feedlot. It takes about 2.5 to 3 weeks to convert that rumen from a fiber digester into a starch digester. And oh, by the way, they have an omega-6 ratio of 20 bad guys and 1 good guy, which is really hard on you. It's not a natural diet, and so it's a stress on the animal, and that's the issue. And then most all the meat in the United States has been given steroid implants or hormone implants to make them grow faster, and those rascals kill the flavor.
The real issue here is that the fact that we feed the cow something unnatural and then have to compensate for that with hormones and other treatments and things like that, rather than just letting the cow be natural.
Grass-fed beef has got a role in the next 50 years. It may be the low-cost producer. You may be able to buy grass-fed beef for less money 10 years down the road if corn goes to $10 a bushel. I mean, it's just, we're going to soon figure out that Mother Earth had this thing pretty well figured out for the first, 100,000 years or 200,000 years.
So let me ask you, how do you like your steak?
I like it medium rare. Serum on both sides, to score the steak, and a little bit of coarse sea salt is all I really use. No other marinades are necessary, and serum on both sides, turn the heat down medium, because grass-fed, if you take a 15-ounce ribeye grain-fed and a 15-ounce ribeye grass-fed, when the grain-fed steak is medium rare, the grass-fed is going to be well done. Because of the lipid change, the lipid chemistry of the meat, the grain-fed animal is going to have more heat-insulating properties than the grass-fed.
I always try and tell people, if you want to figure out the greatest steak to grill, it's the one that starts with the most flavor. It's the one that's been treated the best. And the way that you treat grass-fed beef, I don't know that you have to even be a great cook to come out with a fantastic steak, because you've started with the best ingredients.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, basically, it's these animals, we're using a system that's been handed down for centuries. But my background out of the commodity cattle feeding business for 25 years, I mean, it took me 3 years to figure out that this really was better. I was skeptical. But those animals are on a really high plate of nutrition. They're treated with absolute respect, and they're handled very, very easily, and they almost become docile. I mean, they're so happy with the life they lead. They're never excited. It's just fun to watch them grow. Well,
thank you so much for your time, John. I do appreciate it. And again, the message is that there are people out there that are providing, people like John Wood at U.S. Wellness Meats, that are providing a better product, and you really don't have to worry about fancy seasonings or heavy marinades or even grilling times when you're starting with the best ingredients.
Well, thank you, Chef. I appreciate it, and look forward to further education. I appreciate your efforts, and you look like a great guy in the kitchen.
Thank you, John. I appreciate
very
yours
good.
as well.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Very good. Bye.